Hey guys, welcome back to Young and Unscripted. Today we have such an exciting episode. We are actually joined with the cast and crew of Do You Want Something to Cry For, which is showing at Camden and Peckham Fringe this summer.
Woo.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We are starting with the crew, Mya and Jerome. Hey. Welcome to Young and Unscripted.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Feeling great. We had a long day of rehearsal today, so we're still in the tiredness of the day. But it's the end of the week. It's Friday.
Yes. Party day.
Party started.
I've got work to do.
Right? I mean, I'm actually going to a party after this, so, fit in. But yeah, no, so we're feeling great.
Perfect. Could I just ask you to start by introducing yourselves individually and what your role is within the play?
I'm Jerome Scott. I am the playwright and the movement director for Do You Want Something to Cry For?
Hi, I'm Mya Onwugbonu and I'm the director/producer for Do You Want Something to Cry For?
Amazing. So my first question for you two is, how did you meet? How did that working relationship start?
This is a funny story because officially... We say we met at the Tallowa Tip program that we did in 2023.
Okay.
But there's photographic evidence of us meeting a few months before that neither of us remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're sitting right next to each other.
Yeah.
So
maybe you didn't introduce yourselves at that point in time.
What were we?
We were watching
Jitney?
Something. Was it Jitney? I think it was Jitney, the old Vic. With Poetic Unity.
Okay.
And
It's the photo after as well. There's a photo of us after the show.
And we're all smiley. And I just thought, damn.
I didn't catch his name.
Don't I know you?
And I usually think I'm pretty good with faces, so but apparently not. But yeah, we met on the Tallow Fitter program. And yeah, man.
Amazing. So how did you connect for this project?
That was me. I was like writing poetry and I was like, Mya, I need some help. I know Mya's track record and the great things she's done. I was like, I'd like to work with you.
Yeah.
You have a great track record. This is going to be great because of you. And then just because of the friendship we have and the vibe that we have when we're together, like it feels so organic. And I know that I can bounce something off Mya. And I was like, yeah, we can do this. That makes sense. Let's try and make it bigger. Come on, there's more. Yeah, so to have somebody like that in your corner is,
I love that. Could you please tell us, what is the play about? I'd love to have a synopsis and for our audience so they can come and watch you and so they can be intrigued.
You're looking at me like, the writer. So what the play is about. So I always say when people ask me, the play is investigating the question of how Black boys exist in space, exist with each other, how they hold each other. I think that's what the play is investigating. And it's doing it through almost these memories of Black boys at different ages, whether that's through adolescence, teenage, adulthood. And so it's about kind of how they exist in these different pockets of time and how society wants them to exist. And I guess breaking that barrier.
Amazing. That's really interesting.
I hope that's the synopsis on that. But
Amen.
Why do you feel like that story needs to be told right now in today's society?
I work outside of creative things. I work with a lot of young people and they still sit with the narrative and the rhetoric of like, oh, Black boys can't do this. I'm 15 years old and I can't do that. As a Black boy, I shouldn't be able. And I'm just like, the fact that that is still running within their vocabulary, within their sight of how they see themselves, I feel like is something that we continually need to challenge and question why it is like that and why they limit themselves, why people outside of them limit them. So as long as I think Black boys are alive and that rhetoric, that vocabulary sits within their reach, it shows like this will always be important to have on.
Yeah. And what is your biggest challenge with creating something like that?
I feel like a question that we're constantly thinking about is like relatability. Like, does this relate to every Black boy? And I feel like within the culture that we're in and society, there's always this, Black is one huge thing. And it's like, there can't be different versions of blackness within that. And I think something that we were trying to step away from is this idea of like, this is for everything. This is everyone has a different story and a different journey. And I think there's been some beauty in finding different pockets of reality for people. And the play will sit with everyone differently.
Yeah. I think there's also something in just getting young people into the theatre. It's an area that sometimes doesn't feel accessible to them, or like isn't cool, or they don't know what to expect. And so like how do we kind of break that barrier? How do we provide space for them to exist in it, see themselves in it, or just like come into the theatre space? Maybe if you don't even come and watch the show, but you just come into Theatre Peckham, you come into the Theatre Technics where we're going with Camden Fringe, and just come and be immersed in like just the people there, and then bounce out. If you don't watch the show, maybe it's another show, but just that first step I think is important, and then you come and watch the show. It's a bonus if you see part of yourself in some of the characters on stage, and then how does that kind of translate into you maybe liking theatre even more and wanting to be on stage yourself? But I feel like it's the first steps of just getting them in the door and like, it's out here's fun. We do some great things.
Literally.
It's interesting because obviously one of the theatres you've chosen to do it in is Theatre Peckham, and I wondered, was there anything that drew you towards that theatre and wanting to put it on, particularly at that fringe when obviously there's loads of fringes going on in summer? Why that particular fringe?
I mean, we've both interacted with Theatre Peckham in different ways. We both kind of was on the cultural leader programme with Poetic Unity and was both assigned to Theatre Peckham. So through that, we worked on the inside of how it runs and the great work that they do and how they're really focused on young people and that space and being the one theatre showing things that represents the area that it's in. So I think that was a huge draw for us, having that kind of connection already. And just knowing that this is also the area where I grew up not too far away from Theatre Peckham. So it's also the area that I've grown up in, that people in my circle have grown up in. And so it's like, let's just bring it to the people.
Yeah. And with the people and the community, obviously, I wonder then in your play, is there any real life kind of inspiration that you took from that to include in your play? And is there anything where you can see something that's maybe occurred in your own life which is completely translated into the play?
When I think about the rhythm and like the poetics and the sound of some of the play, I'm like, this is definitely, you can feel that's infused by the people that live around there, infused by the people that interact with the theatre, and just the movement as well. I feel like anywhere in South London, it feels like music, it feels like movement, it feels like, and all of that exists within the foundations of the play.
And I think something that's beautiful about Jerome's writing is that you can pull an experience from everything, like every scene, and you're like, I know this. This pulls me back to a time. In the rehearsal earlier this week, we were talking about our, catching your first wine, right? And that experience, and we were all just like breaking it down, and we were like, damn, this is something so vivid and so live for us all. And so there's lovely pockets of that within the play. So you're just like, yeah, man.
I love that. And you talk obviously here about the poetry and the rhythm of it. What inspired that? Why do you want to include that in your play?
I am a poet.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Claim it.
Poet.
I'm a poet. And I just think that was my way, and that was like the key that unlocked the door. And I was like, okay, how can I now stretch this poetry to at times feel more tangible? So like there's a lot of metaphors, there's a lot of similes, there's a lot of this, a lot of that, and that can make the language feel like it's up here, and like what image are you trying to create? And then, like I said, I wanted to kind of stretch it, and like how can I see it on stage? How can I have the kind of poetry that sits in the air, but the poetry that sits down here as well, and marry them two things together, and then give you this world that we've created.
For people who then aren't necessarily in theatre or in this world of literature and poetry, what do you think about your writing really draws them in? How do they think they're able to then comprehend that? As you said, there's a lot of metaphors. How does it not just go above the audience's head?
I think there's words in there that like just sit in everyday vocabulary of people. There's within the metaphor, there's images that you can then latch onto. So maybe it's not the full sentence or the full verse that you get, but then you hear something in that, you're like, oh, and then under that there's a blanket of movement that should you not get this in writing, you'll see in movement it's making sense. And then there's like repetition of certain things. It's like, oh, and also if you don't get it, that's okay. I think it's important to recognize that you're not going to get everything, and not everything is for you. But you sit there, you've watched, you've taken something away, you have an opinion, you've made a connection. There's, I think that's also a level playing field to throw out there as well.
And I think a lot of the understanding comes from how the actors play it on stage. And so it's about pushing character. I'm huge with character when I direct. And it's all about kind of picking apart a character and creating something for you as an actor to latch onto when you're on stage. So you're not always pulling from what's the words, but you're pulling from a world that you've created. And I think, the characters that we've crafted really help to tell the story. And even if you don't understand the words, you see the vibe and the energy of it. And that's something that as humans we can attach to energies. So,
And do you think that's enhanced then through the movement aspect of it as well?
No, definitely.
We're cutting it up, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm so excited. It sounds amazing. I'd love to talk about these characters then. How did you create? They're called 1 and 2. Why those names? I'm really intrigued.
I think there's so much power in names and so much weight held in them. Part of me was like, I just don't have any names for them. I don't want to give a name and then I feel like it doesn't suit. And then I was also like, it gives space and breadth for them to be whoever they need to be. I feel like when sometimes you give somebody a name, okay, then you start to craft a person. Should anybody else want to play this role, want to step in, you can be that person. It doesn't have to sit in this name and then be held onto something that this other person brought to it. Just 1 and 2. And I think there's also something in like black boys renaming themselves outside of this term black boy. So if you're just 1, but then it's also weighted with like, to everybody else, we're just numbers sometimes. How do we be these numbers, not give ourselves a name and then reclaim a name later on, a name that I've given myself? It's loaded with a lot of things, and it's also, I didn't want to give them a name. I didn't know what name to give them, and then
Mya, when looking at this through a directorial lens, how was that in creating a piece which is so layered and has so many intricacies?
I think early on it was just poems like put together, and I really pushed Jerome to find the story. I was like, where's the arc? Where does the tension rise? Where does it fall? And I think through that process there was something that was crafted in this, on how universal it was and how it's telling a story of lots of different things. And so that made me allowed me to pull back the theatrics of the stage, because it's like the story is jumping this way, that way. So how can we make it simple? How can we make it tangible for an audience to understand? And the writing itself, it lends itself to what it looks like very easily. And so in the room, it was just about playing with how we can show relationship through their use of space, and just how they like interact with each other, the characters that they create. And we did a showing at Omnibus Theatre, part of their like engine room program, and that really just like opened up the world for us. Shout out to Dia. There was just so much fun. There was so much like built in that room and in that process that allowed us to be like, okay, this is what it looks like it's vivid, and it made us like almost place an importance on the set, because at first the set was clear to us from the beginning. It was this circle, it was this light, and they were trapped in it. But I think playing with the idea of like the dead and the living, in this space they're alive, in this space they're not, that came from putting it on stage and seeing how it reads.
So would you say that was the most pivotal moment for the play, which is when you showed it?
I'd say so.
And especially because of the trying times about getting rehearsal rooms and rehearsal space.
It was damn. We had to work quick and be imaginative. We were in some box room one day and we said, you know what, let's walk around Clapham. Let's rehearse on the street. And
how was that?
It was actually really fun.
It was fun.
Wow,
It was
I bet you learned a lot from that.
And it was just like, it allowed them to play with how they said certain words. Like, obviously, the play itself is intimate, But when you place it in a public environment, then you're
does
like,
it
"Ooh,
change and
how do I say this out loud?"
Yeah.
Like, just come the
This is
street.
embarrassing.
Right?
What do you think's had then the biggest impact? When has there been a specific direction that you've given? You thought this has changed the play.
I think what was it that there was something we did the other day, and it just shifted, like the energy.
Right.
You know what it is for me? It's every time like we will run a scene and then like we'll talk about it after, and then we're like, what's the relationship between the two characters at this point? And it's every time we have those conversations, like we had it a week ago, and then you have it this week, and then it's something.
Changed.
It's like not changed dramatically, but like there's another layer been taken off, and then we'll come back again and another layer taken off, and it's those moments where we play, we come back. What have we found? Boom. We're in a bit deeper.
Yeah.
Boom, we're in a bit deeper. And those little, for me anyway, those little conversations, it's like,
oh,
the screw is going in a bit more. It's going in a bit more. Boom, yes, there. Keep that. And then I was like, that's it.
Literally. There'll be times when because what I did this week a lot was working on the different iterations and how they exist as different ages, and being able to play that in how they stand, their posture, how they walk, how they speak. And once they like found it, and then we put it into the scene, I was like, that's what I need. And that switch, that energy, that is how you tell the different stories and allow them to live as like different characters. Because although it is this story of 1 and 2, it's this story of like so many different beings and so many different people. And so being able to craft and come in and out of that was just really important. And I think it clicked this week, which was fun and nice.
That's so exciting. I have a question for both of you to answer individually.
Ooh.
So with the play, obviously, as you said, there's loads of layers and therefore loads of questions. So what question, Jerome, do you feel like is the most important question asked when watching this show?
What is intimacy between black men? And I think that word intimacy can be shrouded in so much of this idea of sex. It's dirty, it's heteronormative, it's heterosexual, it's all of that and more. But when you strip it back and it's just sitting with each other, potentially leaning into each other, looking in each other's eyes, holding each other, 2 black male bodies sitting there and holding space for each other, that doesn't have to involve words or saying much, and just hugging. Like, just underneath that, the question that me and Maya found was like, how long can 2 black men hug for before it becomes uncomfortable for them and for an audience? And so intimacy and
Yeah, that's really beautiful, because I know, Maya, as well, you love to work with silence. I remember you saying that. So is that something you've really pushed for in this play? Because it's I feel like language, sometimes we use it to like overcompensate what we're feeling, but actually just showing and being, that's where the truth lies. So that's a really beautiful question. Maya, what about you?
I think my question is something to do with like how many versions of ourselves can we exist as? I think there's something so annoying about growing up. It's almost like you shed your childhood, you shed this, you shed. But what is it to have them all exist in you and to stay alive within that childhood, within that teenager, within that adult, for them all to just exist together? Because I think that's where you find the joy and the beauty in just life in general. So I think, it's got something to do with like how many versions of yourself still exist inside. Yeah.
What's your favourite version?
Of myself?
Of yourself? That's correct.
My favourite version of myself, honestly, I think it's adulthood. I feel like the way I've moulded myself into a very, secure being within my adulthood. And that's a beautiful thing to say. So shout out to my adulthood. But obviously, there's bits of telephone bills. But there's bits of childhood that you love. The silly stuff, the unfiltered. Like, I'm just going right now.
I love it.
But
and with the characters 1 and 2, then do you have a favourite iteration of them that you love?
I really like their 15-year-old iteration. Mainly because we've done so many different journeys of the scene itself. And I think where it's landed, it's just like, And I feel like everyone can like place that experience in their own life. They're like, I know a person that I've had this kind of relationship with.
Yeah.
Or it's just it's a place in the play where you're rooting for them. And I think that's really important for there always to be something that grounds the audience to be like, no, I want this to work out, especially in a play that's like so vulnerable, it is picking apart and traumatic or whatever it is. It's nice to be like, no, but this is the joy, this is the moment that we sit with and we smile.
It's really beautiful. So what do you want the legacy of the play to be? That's a big question.
No,
it's a really big question and a hard question.
I feel like the legacy of the play is the people that come to see it. In the sense that it's gonna we hope it exists in them and in their memory and how it shifts their life from there. Because there's something in like, we want them to take in the story, but we also want them to apply it to their life in the fact that vulnerability needs to be more present in how we live our lives. Especially because life is hard. Life be lifing all the time. And you need to be able to have those soft moments and to find the strength in them. And I feel like that's what this play is all about, is finding a way to be soft and strong and not think of it as polar opposites, but they actually work together. So I think that's a huge part of its legacy.
Well, I think it's so great that you're doing it as a piece of theatre, because what's more vulnerable than getting up in front of all these people you don't know and performing something and showing your true self. So it's great. What about you, Jerome? Do you have a legacy that you want for the play?
As long as Black boys exist in however they exist, that the legacy is that the story of vulnerability, the story of holding each other keeps being told, keeps being reshaped for whatever time they are living in, so that they know that we can hold each other, we can sit with each other, and it doesn't matter what it looks like to anybody else. From we know what it is, it's all good. From you've got a place to lay your head and cry, laugh, bare your soul, all of that, then that is enough. And should it start with this beautiful? Should it have started before this and I'm passing on the mantle or whatever, however it fathoms? It's just that stories like this keep being told until Black boys all over the world, boys all over the world, people all over the world know that we can exist, we can love, we can just to hold each other that little bit longer.
And that they're really seen through your play, which is really clear. What's been your favourite part of the process and what are you going to miss the most?
I'm going to miss seeing him all the time.
We've seen each other a lot. So much.
The relationship really developed from just sitting next to each other and not knowing. We have a full circle moment.
So honestly, no, I think one thing that I pride myself in as a busy person, I'm on a lot of projects, but it's all projects that like both fuel my creativity and fuel me as a person. Like in terms of, it's all good people. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate saying that, oh yes, I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm working with good people. And I think that's really important. Someone told me the other day, and I said, wow, that is a saying. I don't work on projects, I work on experiences. And I said, yeah, and I still that. Can't remember who it was, but I stole it.
Shout out to you. What am I going to miss? Just coming into rehearsals, I really enjoy like coming in the morning, somebody's tired or somebody's feeling great. It's just like, oh. And we're here in that feeling space, together. Like, we know that we've got to work towards something to produce at the end. But like before we get to that, we have to play. We have to have fun. We have to ask questions. We have to. I don't agree with that. I think that living in the rehearsal room is what I will miss, because then it's like back to other work. Back to. Oh, I've got to get up and do that. It's not rehearsals,
And I know you haven't performed your play yet at Camden or Peckham, but are there any plans to take this further, or for now, do you just want to perform it at the Fringes?
I mean, inside scoop, guys. Jerome has proposed this.
You know what? I was thinking, what you talking about?
Oh my gosh.
I don't what?
Stop it. He's acting like we ain't had this conversation, guys.
So
So when he first brought this project to me, it was a project in the fact that it exists as a piece of theatre, it exists as a poetry book, and it exists as a short film. So those are the three worlds that we will be tackling through the rest of this year.
Fighting for our lives.
And so this was just the first version of how we've decided to explore it. And I think there's a lot that we've found in the process in terms of the people that we've met through the R&Ds, through the auditions, that we know we're going to take along with us and help to create that short film and help to create that poetry book and allow it to exist in different formats. I think a huge part of like the industry or like inviting people who've never been in the industry is like being able to access them in different ways. Yeah. And so this theatre show might not be for everyone, but maybe the film is, or maybe the book is. And so it just means that it exists larger than just one thing. But also it's going to be on the West End.
Oh, period.
Yeah.
Right?
International, baby.
I love it.
And just to piggyback on that what I was saying earlier about accessibility, like if theatre is not for them or they can't access that, maybe you can access the book, maybe you can access the short film. How can I make it tangible for somebody that isn't privy to one of those or all of those spaces? I just want it, how can we keep pushing? And also, I want to be an artist in all of that. Like I want to dabble in this, dabble in that, say that I've worked here, done that, and that then feeds into other things that I'm doing, because I think it's all important in feeding me being an actor, me being a writer, me being a performer in all of its beauty and glory.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's been amazing to chat to you about Do You Want Something to Cry For? I am so excited to watch it. Can you please remind our audience where and when we can watch this and get tickets? Where can we get tickets?
So if you head to the Theatre Packham website, type in Do You Want Something to Cry For? We're going to be there on Tuesday the 20th at 7:30. Come early, it's our press night. Whoa! Complimentary drinks and some snacks and a little goodie bag. Whoa! And also Wednesday the 21st of May at 7:30 as well. And then you'll catch us at Teatro Technus on the 30th and the 31st of July at 9 p.m. So that's 4 opportunities.
For some of you people that are working late in the evening.
Right,
9 p.m.
perfect.
show.
And it's a cute little 50-minute, 60-minute show. So it won't be late.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so part 2 of the video. We are now joined with the cast of Do You Want Something to Cry For? And as you may notice, Jerome is
still
part
here.
and the crew, really doing everything.
I am.
But again, can we just introduce ourselves for the audience, please?
Hello, I'm Jerome Scott. As I mentioned before, I am the writer, movement director, and I'm also playing 2.
Yes, we've got a little reveal there, which you didn't get at the start.
Oh my god.
Hi, I'm Abimbola Ikengboju, and I am playing 1, and I'm the actor. That's it.
He's so much more than that.
Amazing. So, my first question is for you, Jerome. And my question is, what is it like writing your own work and then having to star in your own work?
Ooh. It is. It's fun.
Yeah.
Being like, I'm the writer now and I think we should make a change. That doesn't make no sense.
Yeah.
I'm an actor and like, Mya, what should we do? I haven't found it difficult. I mentioned before going in to rehearsals, like, it's a collaborative space. Yeah. Any ideas you've got, please throw. Like, this is some kind of the first time like my writing is being on such a big stage. So like it's scary. So please guys, if there's any room to help to make things make more sense, to make things land, then please help. But yeah, they really held me in the room. I'm very grateful for that. And I've been encouraged, like Jerome, you can write, you've got something to say, so trust yourself and run with that. So yeah, it hasn't been difficult at all.
Oh, that's really lovely to hear. I think sometimes
really
it was like,
sweet,
there's pressure, but that's really nice.
Yeah.
Have you not found yourself being self-critical at all? Or?
Yeah. Oh no, that's existed. That's been there.
Even today in rehearsal, we get to the end of the play, and he was like, "That doesn't make sense." He was like, "Mya, does that we're gonna change it right now?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
okay you're going on soon.
Yeah. So like I said, they've given me space to be critical and held me in that like, Jerome, it's okay. It makes sense. You're just overthinking.
Yeah.
I've been critical, but it's been held.
Yeah. And have you had many last minute changes, or has it been okay?
It's been okay. Not a lot. Like
I haven't been wild with it.
No.
I haven't been.
Also, even if you were, like, that's fine, because like I think like the way like the play is collaborative, it really opens it up for that, because it's like, okay, we're doing this, and then like someone will be like, oh, but what about this? And then we'll be like, oh, that actually fits in, and then like the whole thing kind of just everything kind of Jengas together in this like nice tower, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I also said the other day we were writing an anecdote for an interview or something. Maya was doing something, and I was like, the writing is now existing outside of me and it's becoming more than I ever imagined. And like, I'm so grateful for that, because like I can sit down and write and I have an idea and it's like, yeah, this is sick, this is that. Come into the room, it's like, it doesn't slap, or it's the other thing. It's like it slaps.
Yes.
I'm like, yo, it slaps. And then, like I said, with the characters not having no names, then it's like people are able to come in and infuse so much into that, and they're like, yo, this is more than what. Please, let's run with that, because it's more than I could give.
Yeah, that's great. And what was the casting process like for you?
It was nice. It was fun. It literally was. I saw it on an Instagram, and then I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'd love to do that. And we got the script, and I read the script, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely doing it. I was like, I'm doing this. Like, they have to pry it off my cold dead hands. Get to rehearsal room, I'm fighting everyone. You know what I mean? But no, it was really nice, and it was a really like, the space was lovely, and it was just like I was just in a room with like loads of other black men, and it was like a lovely place to be, because everyone there was creative, and they all brought this fun energy, but they were all also so open and so lovely to be around. And you were like this is, I want to make art with everyone in this room, because you're all your ideas are magnificent. Do you know what I mean? Like you all think in such a different way to me. Like I saw when we all did we had to do like an extract from the thing, and I saw everyone's, and I was like, you see everyone's, and you're like, wow, no, mine's the worst. I was like, you're thinking mine's terrible compared. You're all so good, and like, so that was what it was fun. It was exhausting, energetic, and just safe.
Oh, that's lovely. How did you set up that casting day? What was the process for that?
Oh, so we had known that deal was going to have to step out because of uni, and then me and Maya were like, we need to find somebody. And then, time runs away from you, and then we're like, Maya, we haven't set up we need to set up an audition day. We need to do something. And then we sent out the feelers. Maya was getting emails, and then was like, we need a space. And I think that's always a thing. Where do we do it?
Oh my gosh, I've had that.
We need to hire a room, a space. Yeah. Then we got that. And then it was like a little back and forth between me and Maya, like, okay, you're going to lead this bit, I'm going to do that bit, I'm going to do the movement. How do we build up the world? Will we look at the text first or this? Set up the movement first, then jump into the text, because then they have tools to pull on when they're building the characters. And then, the day came and people came. I said, yo, they're here. Oh, it's happening. And then we started playing some music, and then it was games, and then it was like, boom, we're into the world, we're into the work. Yeah.
Did it feel slightly overwhelming that so many people actually turned up for your work? Was that like a real wow moment?
Yeah, because it's like, oh, you guys have read the extract that we've sent and still been interested and want to be in the room. Oh, wow. And regardless of some of them being friends, like...
Did you know each other before?
No, we didn't.
Not
No.
at all. Not at all. I walked in Jerome, I was like, hi, and he was like, what? And I was like, oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, no.
I was like, I was a bit like,
don't talk
because
to me.
an audition is nerve-wracking enough. So you're kind of like, so it must be crazy. Like, you never think about the people that have to run their own.
Yeah.
And like how much stress that they're under, because like you're like, you got Peckham Fringe in 3 weeks.
And thinking,
we're doing the audition. You're like, I've got to. So it was, but it's nice. It's fine now.
We in it now.
What were the main qualities of the character? What were you really trying to look for when casting?
I think a cliche is to say playfulness, but like a real playfulness, and going into the writing, I had an idea of how I wanted one to look, and then sitting with Maya, having an idea of how we wanted one to look together, and then having done the kind of first 20 minutes at Omnibus Theatre, the engine room program, even more so was like, okay, need to feel like this, they need to bring this energy, and then get into the rehearsal room, the audition room.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're giving everything, everybody's giving everything that we want, or you're giving a bit more, you're giving a new perspective. So then it's like, oh, and then we like came down to 3, and then was like, because I didn't read with anybody in the room.
Okay.
It's like, how do we read now together? How do we move together or do what we need to do together to find out? And then it's just from there, kind of like the vibe, the Abim's questioning of the character of the story was another thing that really pulled me. I'm like, you're asking questions I didn't even ask myself, and that's intriguing me, because who do you think this character is now? How can I continue to build the world with your interest, with your input, and then just your vibe in the room, the way you move, the stories that you were telling. Yeah.
Have you had a lot of experience with movement before, or was that something you really just played with on the day?
It was something. I don't know. I guess I went to drama school, so you get taught like movement there, but like I like movement. I like moving. I think stories that are told through movement, like are some of the, like you can go and watch something when someone doesn't speak, and even in the way they move to like music, you can feel the pain like that they're going through. So there's something really interesting about like movement in that sense, that it's like a very, it's like a universal language. Do you know what I mean? Like you can look at it and know what's happening. Do you know what I mean? Like if I was like I've hurt my shoulder, everyone, you're like, and I'm like, falling, and you're like, not, but so that's how I like music. Yeah.
Well, I think it's grounded within the body, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like everything that we do, if we feel it in our body, then our performance is going to be so much better, so much more elevated. So what was it about One then? Why were you so drawn to this particular character? Obviously, you only got how long was the extract that you got given?
Also, you say extract. It was like 6 pages.
Oh, wow.
I read it. I was like,
I'm testing
I was
you
like
today.
extract. I was like, this is 6 pages.
You had to learn it for the audition.
No.
Okay.
No, but I was like, because my was like, I'll send you an extract. Great, and I got it, and I was like,
Didn't end.
How many pages is the play?
That's a great
11.
question.
That's a really hard question. I don't know why I said that. I'm so sorry. That's really hard to know.
Because
It's
our script
11.
is right now printed like 2 pages are on one sheet. So the script it's looking hella small.
Yeah, there's more.
So right now there's 11 pages because it's
So 22.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a decent amount of plays.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you really got to know one through those?
Through that. Yeah. It was really nice, like reading it, and then I was kind of like, okay, cool. Like I feel like the relationships jump out straight away.
What would you say for both of you what's their relationship like?
I think their relationship is like it's all encompassing, and like Maya said earlier, like you see, there is a bit of every relationship that you have in all their relationships. There, like you kind of, it's this like world of like, oh yes, I've experienced that, or I know someone's experienced that, or like I've seen that, I can understand that, and it's just like looking at it through whatever lens that you have and your like lived experience, and that's what you pick up on their relationship. I think their relationship is like familiar, it's like intimate, and it's also like strangers. Like you sometimes get the vibe they don't know each other, sometimes you get the vibe they're like best friends, father, like that's what I'd say their relationship is like.
What about for you?
No, I agree. I think it bleeds through all of those different relationships that we're privy to in life, like a parent and a child, lovers, best friends, strangers. And I think that's what I wanted to lean into, that ambiguity, that whatever that word is, in kind of the whole of the play. Like at one point you might think, oh yeah, they're definitely together, and then at another point, are they brothers? That's father and son. No, they're strangers. Because black boys exist in all of those things, sometimes in one relationship. It could be a father and son, and you can be strangers, but you can also be lovers in the sense that like you really love each other, but you can also be best friends. And then in a romantic relationship, you can be best friends, you can be lovers. There can be that father and son relationship in some kind of sense. But yeah, all of those relationships exist in each other at some different point. And then how do we put that in the play? And what if we don't name what it is in that moment, but like you were saying, an audience having whatever lens they have in their lived experience, that might be something to this audience member sitting here, but it's completely different to that audience member there. And that's what I wanted to lean into.
Yeah.
So at any point, they could be whatever you think they are, but it's that question and that pushing idea of how long can they hug for? What is the intimacy between them? And if it's a case of they're hugging for too long, why are they hugging for too long? And why does that matter in that context of that relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier, Maya said that their 15-year-old self was her favourite iteration. What is your favourite iteration to play?
Oh, it's definitely the first.
kids? Yeah.
100%.
The first iteration, they are like, we see them as 5 to 10-year-olds, and they are just running wild. They're just that playfulness, that looseness of not caring or being so innocent and not privy to some of the things that I think that we pick up as adults and as we grow up, and that weight that then sits in us in decision making. They're just kids existing with each other and bouncing off the walls, bouncing off each other and living.
Yeah. Is there anything you learned from playing that and from kind of reliving your younger self, your younger experiences?
I think you always learn, whenever you have to do anything where you're playing a child, you realise that kids are really out here for a good time. Like, they live life with the idea that like everything is your oyster. Like, there is nothing kind of wrong with the world. You're just having fun. I think that's something like, every time we do it, I always leave. I'm always exhausted. I'm like, 27, my back hurts. Like, not me. But like, I always leave just feelings way more like, yeah, let's do it. And then, so that's it. Like you can still dance and laugh and run around with your friends, even though you might think you're old.
Yeah. And obviously now you've just said about the rehearsal process, your back's hurting. Heavy. So has it been a demanding rehearsal task? I mean, it's been an intensive, hasn't it? Was it 3 weeks you said before your show that you started rehearsing?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah. So what does your day-to-day look like as a cast member of Do You Want Something to Cry For?
Oh, sort of like, I'm like getting at 10.
Yeah.
And then just like warm up, then we're straight into it.
Yeah.
All day. Like, there's a lot of movement, a lot, choreo and everything.
Yeah.
It was just you walk into the room, the drum's like, pa, 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 pa. And I just like walk up behind him like, how 1, 2, 3, 2, 4. And I, you know what I mean? Slow down. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
So it's like very, very physical, very physical, which is really nice and it's lovely, but like, I think that's also like, you're kind of like you want to get that right. You want to be able to be like, because when it all comes together, if it's like, because like we have like a lot of in-sync movements as well. Once like those are clean, you're like, it's just beautiful. Like, so it's been fun. It's been intense.
Obviously, we've talked about your favourite iteration. Is there an iteration you found the most challenging?
The blurry iteration.
The blurry, yes.
So it gets to a point in the play like where the iterations are bleeding into a number of different iterations in that one iteration scene, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like at 1 minute they're their youngest selves, then in the next 2 lines they're the older selves, in the next line they're adolescent selves, and like bouncing through that one and just clocking when the changes are, and clocking how we still maintain those relationships in a couple of lines of being this relationship, and then boom, we're in another relationship. Yeah. And we only blocked that today as well. Yeah.
What's the main difference between the characters?
I think two really wants to step out of what they think they know and explore. Has a pulling towards, there's more than this. There's more than what we know right now. How do I get out there? How do I bring you with me? Let's go. Yeah.
Whereas I think one is very rigid in his like understanding of things, and he's kind of like, things are the way that they are, and you either go with the flow or you kind of like, you stay, like you just, the world moves past you, if that makes sense.
Right.
One's always kind of like, almost feels like someone, like everyone knows someone that's like a cynic who's like things aren't real. I'm a realist. Like don't dream too big because and you're there and you're like you have to dream. That's what keeps you alive. Like the idea that like you can become something else or like evolve, like see something better. And one's is kind of like no, but also it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Like it's like this is what society's put on him. These are the things that he's had to adapt to survive. So the idea of stepping out of that is terrifying.
Yeah.
And when two's like, come on, and he's like, no, because you don't know. And I've seen many people step out and not come back. So I'm not going with you.
Yeah. Do you think in your real life, have you ever veered more towards being like one, or do you think you're more like two?
I think leaning into what we were saying, being kids and being free, I feel like the younger Jerome was very much a two, and then growing up, like I said, the weight of things that we hold on to, the things that you go through, the experiences, you can become. I've experienced myself becoming more rigid in certain things, and now it's that, I'm gonna let that go.
Yeah,
that's not mine to hold.
That's
not my shame.
Yeah,
that's not me. And working on myself and doing all of those things, leaning back into the two, but knowing that like they can coexist and they can hold each other, and like sometimes this is how it is, and boom, until we get to here. Yeah, they can. Yeah.
What about you, G4?
I think I like to think that I'm like two a lot of the time. I'm like two, but I would agree. Like life kind of throws stuff at you that forces you to kind of be like, oh wait, I can't, or I don't want to, when you really should.
Yeah.
Like kind of evolve and grow and step outside of your comfort zone. And it's like, there's that really like scary pushback that you give yourself that you're like even moving to London was like was huge for me. And I was like, oh, like what if it doesn't work out? Like what if it all just falls apart?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And that's when my mom's like, you can still always come back home. And I'm like,
hey, this is what I'm talking about. And because you're not from London, I'm not from London.
I'm from Basing, so I actually live in Basing, but I never it's not too far, but it's also not close.
Yeah, it's not really commutable. Well, it is commutable, but it's far.
It is far.
Yeah.
Man, I'm from Birmingham.
Yeah. So if those are their differences, what are their similarities? What holds them together?
They both care for each other. And I think that's the main thing. That's the main theme about that's a theme about this play, is that like they both show their care in such different ways. Like one's care is like, don't go. We can it might be rigid, it might be thing, but it'll be me and you and we'll do it together. And two is like, I want to show you freedom. And that's the way I want to love you, is by showing you that you can be more than you think you are.
Yeah. And I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too.
Somebody write that.
Please record that. That's so, because I feel like everyone always says to be loved is to be seen, right? And is that not that in its truest form? Like someone being like, no, well, I just want this for you. I want you to be happy. I want you to be free. Oh, that's so beautiful. In one word, then, how would you describe 1 and 2? So like 2 words, 1 for 1, 1 for 2.
I'm trying to think of like a material. And I think something that like, if you like push and your handprint goes in and it just sticks. Like molasses. Something like that. Molasses is what I would say. Almost like this sticky, like unbreaking, like, and you really, if you want to get through it, you really have to push and push and push just to even break the skin.
Yes.
I really hope molasses is right, unless that's going to be so embarrassing.
That really what does that mean? For one, I think taut. Yeah, and I don't know why your word made me think of that, but like I feel like he's really stretched and like everything is tight and he doesn't want to rip, but like he's being stretched to fall over bone. That is, For 2, I think naive, but not in. Sometimes I feel like naive can be like painted with this negative aura around it, but I don't, just. So maybe the word is curiosity. Then he has a curiousness to him that is like, I want to question this. I want to question that. I want to. Let's try this, and if it doesn't work out, don't work out. Then we can do something else.
Yeah.
Curious.
I really like Naive though.
I think Naive, it's really multifaceted.
Yeah.
Because,
There you go,
No, because sorry, I completely cut you off, but I do agree in terms of what you said earlier. It's not. It does sort of have negative connotations.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're so naive. You don't
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
the big world. Like you don't understand what's coming to you. But actually, there's a beauty in like having that innocence and that naivety. It's like, well, no, actually, I can do what I want. I can see. You see the world. It's almost seeing the world through rose-tinted glasses,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's
Until
like,
somebody
I can
tells
do
me
everything.
no, I'm gonna
I
I'm
can
gonna
do
run.
it.
I'm gonna
Yeah. No, it's a great word. Earlier, I asked Jerome what his biggest takeaway would be and what he learned the most. So, what would be your biggest takeaway from this project?
Your stories aren't just your own. And you might think like, oh, like, it's so interesting meeting Jerome and like we look at this script and whatever, and I read it and I'm like, oh wow, like, oh, it's not just me. And like it's not that I ever thought it was just me, but like when someone else puts it into words and then you know you're gonna perform it for other people and they're also gonna be like take things away from it, you're like, oh, we're really all just like
All the same.
we're all the same. Like all of our experiences are so similar that like it's beautiful and like it can be heartbreaking, it can be sad, but like you're never alone, and someone will always be there. Someone will always understand you, and I think that's really sweet. That's really nice.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is, and I think that's what's so incredible about theatre and TV and film, because you really are just watching something, and everybody has a different perspective on it, right? Due to everyone's different circumstances, but you're all feeling that same emotion. You're all in that theatre and you're all connected through this one universal emotion, whether you felt it slightly differently to somebody else, but it's still that same emotion and you're still held in it. And obviously a lot, the holding space is talked about a lot recently, and I feel like you're already held in it. So that is really beautiful. If there is one line from the play that you had to choose, what line resonates the most with you?
So my favorite line is, it's in the lovers iteration, and we're having this whole conversation, and then Jerome's character says, "Scared of the dark," and I was like, "Dark scared of you then?" And then my line is, "Now you're getting it. Dark scared of black boys, and black boys scared of each other." And I think that's when, like, even at the audition room, I read that and I was like, "Oh."
It's heartbreaking.
That's, you know what I mean? And I think that's such a, like, there's such a truth in that. Like, in the sense that, like, you can be out with all your friends and you see another group of people and you're like, and there's this, like, apprehension, and just because of, like, society and stereotypes, you're kind of like, and then it wasn't until, like, you all kind of walk past, or, like, everyone's like, yo, 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 and you're like, oh shit, bro, like, yo, and then it's like, and then you almost feel just a little bit like, you feel a little bit sad, because you're like I have no reason to look at you any different. Matter of fact, I have less reason, because you look just like me. But because of the world that we live in, I've been conditioned to do so, and it's like that line really puts it into perspective, because then it's like, if you're scared of someone that looks like you, how scared of yourself? How scared of you are you of yourself? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's like,
wow,
talk about it.
Right. It's like,
let's talk about it, because you know how so many people say they have internalized whatever it is, and it's a self-hatred, isn't it? It's like, well, I don't want to see that reflected on me, so I'm reflecting that to the outside world.
Yeah, exactly.
But what does that breed? That breeds hate and hatred, and it's a vicious cycle. And it's something we have to break, and something that clearly you guys need to go and watch to subscribe for, because we're going to break that cycle. I love it. Wow. Jerome, what about you? What's resonating with you in the play that you wrote? So I guess everything's resonating with you.
Them man are tired, them man are heavy, looking at my face and call that legendary.
I love it. I love it.
It just has the rhythm that it has to it is fun, and I think there is a thing that I've experienced growing up is like parents, grandparents, and aunties, uncles, when they get to a certain age, thank you, Father God, Jesus, I'm tired, and it's like the tiredness comes from not just working and family and all of that, but this I think this holding of their blackness, and when they realize outside of them that regardless of what they can or can't do, that their blackness is always going to be political. And I think part of that line is rooted in them man are tired, them man are heavy outside of the things that they put on themselves, but what society has put them on them as well. And then just like I said, the tiredness of again, another idea. But also knowing that there's fun in that, man. Being in the rehearsal room, I'm tired, man. Oh, my body feels heavy. Living just in itself is such a great thing. Like, I'm grateful to live. But yo, it's tired, man. It's heavy, man. But we find a way through. We navigate, and it would all work out.
Yes.
It would all work out. That's been my motto for the past couple of months. I'm like, it will all work out, man.
It will.
Yeah.
100%. So I have a little segment for you guys. Something new.
We playing a game?
We're playing a little game which I'm springing on you. It's going to be a short game, so don't worry.
All right.
We're doing a Who's Most Likely To.
Just
Just so we can get to know you guys a bit more, so that people can really want to come and see. Anyway, most likely to forget their lines. Who's forgetting the lines? Who do we need to watch out for?
This is crazy.
But you know, it's okay because we got each other.
We got each other.
It's not me, it's him. But we got each other.
We got each other.
The pickup of like, that's anytime I'm in like a rehearsal room or like I'm facilitating, or if I'm in anything, I always say to whoever's in the room, like, hold each other, man. When somebody forgets a line, that is when you're on stage, hold each other.
Yeah.
If I have to say your line, I have to say if I stumble and forget or hold each other. I think that is so important. Like, the show can't run with just me. It can't run with just you. It's us, and we're in this together. So if you mess up, I mess up. If I mess up, you mess up. The pickup is how we pick up each other and then continue to run. I got you, man, and you got me, so we're good.
Yeah.
Hey,
We
but
love
it's
it.
you.
But it's me.
I mean, to be fair, you wrote the play. So
Thank you.
Okay, next one. Who is most likely to break character and start laughing?
I do.
Or has that not happened?
I want to say me, but I can pick it up. I can jump back in.
Okay.
I think it's me. I think it's me as well.
It's us.
It's us. It's both of us. Really.
Isn't it?
It's them.
We love it.
We're just so unserious.
No, but I love that because that adds to the playfulness of the play, and that adds to the relationship.
Yeah.
Without that, like, it's going to be a bit of a rigid play.
Yeah.
So we need those foundations, and I love it. Who is most likely to be late for rehearsal? What do they say in drama school? They say, and one of my teachers said to me, to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. And to be late is unforgivable. Thank you. Thank you. So who's been unforgivable here?
There was one time where I was late. But
Okay.
the rehearsal schedule
It's Maya's fault.
said 10:30, and I got there at 10:45. Everyone else was there from 10,
Oh.
and I was like,
Oh, okay.
"What do you mean?" I was like, "Oh no, but it said 10:30," and she was like, "No, it said 10," and I was like, "No, it did not."
Yeah.
No.
So how did they know to be there for 10?
They message individually.
Okay.
They just leave me out of it.
Okay.
It's fun.
Okay. We live and we learn.
They really do.
And it's okay. Okay. Who is most likely to cry? Since it's about crying. Well, no, it's not about crying. The title. Who's most likely to cry once the show ends?
Say you.
I'm gonna hold that. I think me, just knowing that like it's lived through so many iterations and like what it came from just being poetry and we're on stage for 20 minutes and now we're on Theatre Peckham stage for like an hour. Then we're going to Camden. And like I said, it's living outside of me now, and
Yeah.
people are coming to support and people are sharing and like, oh wow,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
people are listening or feeling or yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely been a whole process for both of you, but obviously
Yeah.
it started with you.
Yeah.
So of course. So who is most likely to improvise? Are we going to see any improvisation on the night?
I hope not. Because
I want to say me.
I want to say you do.
Sometimes I'll just be throwing lines out there.
That's it, but we hold each other.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
when,
yeah.
like whenever someone says something wrong, then this person just picks it up with like their own version of the thing, and as long as it keeps it on, we keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the final, who is most likely to, is who is most likely to quote the script in real life?
You. I would say you as well.
I live in...
I feel like they're your words.
You're like, oh, this is profound.
yeah.
People, yeah.
And I just live in that quote.
What did
I
you-
just be saying so much.
What did you? What was it yesterday? We was going over. You can't rap just bare, and then you were like, you sat there, and we sat there, and he was going over his own like, his own bars, and he was like, guys, I want to sing. I was like, it's sing, but you're just.
I was just giving the foundation of where certain lines come from, and I just because I don't want people to miss them. Like there's one line where they're in the kid state, and I'm like, no, what did you say? Capture me, capture me.
No TV can capture me.
Rapture me, running on water can't dash with me. I'm incredible. If you know the Incredibles, you know that Dash runs on water. Running on water can't dash with me. I'm incredible. I'm just like, yes, thank you.
You gotta know the roots. You
Yeah,
gotta know the
please.
roots. Yeah, I love it. So, guys, I have two final questions for you. My first question, I feel like it's gonna have to go to Jerome.
Mm-hmm.
It's why the title? Why do you want something to cry for? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday as well. Like,
Yeah.
that was a working title for a long time, just because I was like, oh, I like the sound of that. Then there was looking over my shoulder in the light, and then do you want something to cry for? We just never kind of had a look at the others again. It just it kind of stuck. And then I was mentioning yesterday that it's also some rooting in this idea of, for me, I know it exists in Caribbean households or the ones that I've been privy to, that like you can get beating and then it's like I'm already crying, and then your parents asking you, do you want something to cry for? And then again it being coated in that negative connotation of like you can only want something to cry for once you've been beaten. But like, what if it is something else? What if we change its roots? What if we change how we hold that word in? I can give you something to cry for that is happy. I can give you something to cry for that is like a revelation. And it was kind of rooted in that, but also that was the title that just stuck because we never changed it. And now I feel like it's found its own meaning within the world of the play, and it's not necessarily you're going to come and you're going to cry, but this could be a potential thing that makes you cry, or like this is a reason to cry for these two black boys being black men trying to find their inner boys. Like, yeah, that could be a reason you cry for.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And my final question actually has nothing to do with the play.
Sensational.
It's just a question that we ask each and every one of our guests that comes on the podcast. And our question is about advice. What advice would you give to somebody wanting to write their own play, wanting to perform in a play, just to creatives, I guess, in general? This industry's hard, so...
No, it is. And I would say find your people. And that's like in the sense of like go to creative things, meet other creative people. People will post things like and be like, I need this and I need that. And if you're interested, give it a shot, see if you like it. And then if you like it, keep doing it. There's no point in like, I think it's easy to sit there and be like, oh, I wish I could do this and I wish I could do that. But like the opportunity isn't just gonna fall. So you have to actively try. And then when you surround yourself with people that like do this kind of stuff, more and more opportunities will come around. And also just have fun, take it easy and do stuff that you enjoy. Just because you want to do something doesn't mean you have to do everything.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can find yourself being drained just because you're like, well, I just want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then you find that half the stuff you're doing doesn't fulfill you. Because I think a lot of the reason most of us act is because you get fulfillment from it. Like you enjoy the idea of living in a different world, in a different scape, and telling just a different story. And when you're done with it, you feel like invigorated. You feel so full of life. But if you're doing something that doesn't give you that feeling, you're gonna run out. You're gonna tap out of energy so quick. Like
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's it. Find your people. Do things that you enjoy.
Beautiful.
I'm going to shout out my sister and her group of friends for saying it's cringe until it isn't. Like, you just have to, well, I'm putting this out there, I'm doing this, I enjoy it, I love it. And at one point it's going to find traction. And if it doesn't, let it find traction for you. Like, I think we're so shrouded in this thing of like a following of people liking it that it scares us into making things that we think aren't going to be liked or won't find traction. And sometimes you have to remember why you're doing what you do in the first place. So you're doing it for the popularity, the money, the fame. And obviously that's nice, and that then brings traction for you to get funding or for people to be invested. But like at the core of that, why are you doing it? I think knowing that is important, or like always trying to work towards what your why is, and knowing that it's cringe until it isn't, and it's enough for you. Be audacious, like have the audacity. Have the audacity.
Yes.
People are going to question you and talk about you all your life, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Very true.
They're going to have your name in their mouths, whether you like them, whether they like you. All the time, people are going to be having. Everybody has an opinion and has something to say. Be audacious. Yeah. Hey, I look fly, and I'm going to wear this because I want to, and I feel like I look great.
Yes.
Should you run with that audacity? Who's going to check you?
Yeah.
In the words of Monique, who's going to beat me up? Who's going to beat me up? Because who?
But
Who? Yeah.
can I add something onto that as well about the making your own work? If you like the thing that you make, someone else is going to like it.
Yeah.
If you make something that you genuinely care about and you genuinely love, and you put your like soul into it, because that's the thing with like plays and like even plays and music, they're alive because they make you feel something.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put what you want into it, someone will like it. And if someone likes it, someone else will like it. And 2 people, 3's a crowd. Do you know what I mean? Once we got 3, 4, 5, 6, suddenly you're getting like 10 people to come and watch your show. And that's huge. Like you might be like, oh, only 10 people came to watch my show.
Please
Listen.
10 people believe in your vision.
10 people believe in your
Like,
vision. That's a lot.
10 people. I'm saying thank you so much, London. And 10, of course.
Ready, please.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And just, I think a big thing of this is like just trying, man. Sometimes you just need people in a room. I don't know if this is anything. I don't know if it makes sense. Can we just try? I'm making this up as I go along. I'm writing. Does it make sense? Hey, can we try it? There's something in that. There's always something in the nothing that didn't make sense, but we found a new thread that didn't work. We found something in the didn't work thing to make this thing work, and said, you just got to try, man, and make it up and ask questions. That as well. Ask questions. Somebody's always got an answer for you, and somebody's always going to be willing to help, as scary as it can be, especially in this industry of like, let me talk to that big dog or this big, hey, please, hello, can I get some help? Do you know how to? I think, yeah, like I said, be audacious, man, and just try, and all of these things, and make it up as you go along, man. Who can tell you you're wrong?
Exactly.
Please.
Yeah, try it. Yeah.
Take the mic off. There's no mic.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I have had the best time talking to you both. I'm so excited to watch your play. Honestly, it sounds incredible. I cannot wait. And I've loved getting to know you guys and to speaking to you. So thank you again. I hope you've enjoyed.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, a great time.
Of
I'm
course,
alright. Another place I can come
Yeah.
back.
We'll get you back on. Don't worry. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. Please don't forget to go and watch Do You Want Something to Cry For this year at the Peckham Fringe and at Camden Fringe. See you guys all next week. Bye.
Bye.